y'all, and welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos, or if you're new around here, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I like to play with eyeshadow palettes around here and talk about random topics, and today's topic is another random one, but the eyeshadow palette is not new or random. This is the Alter Ego, sorry I said that weird, Sakura palette. I haven't played with it. I mean, I've played with it 5 times. I wanted to do one more look though, because I realized I didn't really go very mauvey in the outer corner, so I'm gonna go super mauvey in the outer corner, probably green on the lid. We'll see how it goes, but I just want to play with it one more time before I officially review it on my channel. So this is the palette I'm going to be using as we talk about Dougherty Dozen. So if you're new to my channel, I tend to do very few edits in this type of video, so we're just going to jump right in, and any little mess ups or whatnot, I tend to leave them in unless I have some extra time to edit, which is always hit or miss, but I might do some fun edits. But for the most part, we just roll with it, leave it mostly unedited. So this is me jumping right in. So why do I want to talk about Dougherty Dozen? It's been something that's been on my mind for a while, and I think the biggest reason is because Dougherty Dozen's like big thing is not only that they shop insanely large amounts of food, but that they come from a big family, so therefore that's why they have to shop for so much food multiple times a week. And it always kind of bothered me, even, I mean, I've known about this channel for 2 years at this point. I forget when exactly. Again, I will leave kind of reference videos down below. I get most of my info on Dougherty Dozen from the Dad Challenge podcast because he tends to cover them a lot. I also do Amy Robinson, I believe is her channel name. I could be totally wrong there. Sorry, I am so bad at names. But those are the two that I watch that cover the Dougherty Dozen the most. But basically they are a family that has, I don't remember the number, but a lot of adopted and biological children, to total about 11 kids. For a while they had 12 when they took in 2 fosters, but one of them has since gone to a different home. They still have 1 foster, so I think it's 11. Anyway, a blended family in that aspect of, you know, having fosters, or not fosters, having adopted and biological children. And she kind of went famous for her insane shopping videos. Like, she would take you along, shop with me type of videos, and the amount of food that she buys is, again, insane. And it's something that's always kind of bothered me, because if you are new around here, or if you didn't know, okay, nitpick right here, but like, why are these 2 shimmers there? Like, they're literally the same color, same texture. Like, why don't you do this one matte and this one shimmer, and then I wouldn't be as mad at the same color, but like, it's the same color. Anyway, okay, nitpick over. Because, why am I so annoyed at it? Because if you didn't know, I come from a large family. I grew up with, let's see, 9 siblings. I was the 3rd oldest of 9 siblings, but I have since I have married and moved away, my family has grown, and we now have, oh gosh, it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 siblings. So I come from a large family. I really only speak on I guess you could say, not identify, that's a weird word, but like, I really can relate to the 10 kids in a family, because that was me for the longest time until I got married. I mean, I guess not until I got married. 3rd oldest. By the time I was in my teens, we had, there was 10 of us there. And then after some of us grew and left the house, my parents ended up fostering, adopting, so I can relate to that aspect of it. But as far as like living in the home and experiencing the big family, I really can only relate to the 10, because I was not in the home. We weren't in the home as like 15, if that makes sense, 15 kids. But when I was growing up, I was one of 10, and so I feel like I can speak to the shopping needed for a family of 10. Now, I should clarify, growing up, we did in my family have more girls than boys, and I definitely know that that can influence shopping, because boy can teenage boys eat, like, oh my goodness. And around the time, as I said, I was 3rd oldest, had a lot of younger sisters, and they were a little bit more of the picky, you know, didn't really have huge appetites type of thing, but we had 2 teenage boys. So anyway, I can relate a little bit to it, but just watching the insanity of her shopping hauls multiple times a week always just kind of gets under my skin, because I feel like she gives this impression that this is what you need to do, and this is just how it is to have a large a large family, have a lot of kids, when it's just really not. Now she does stockpile a lot, like a lot. And I can relate to stockpiling a little bit, not, I guess not stockpiling, but having a couple months worth of food in your possession type of thing, in your home, just in case type of thing. But hers is to a level that would just stress me out, because I'd be like, oh, where's the expiration date on all these things? Like, how do I make sure I'm using it up and not just wasting money, that type of thing. But she just shops so much, and a lot of it, I know a lot of people kind of criticize her on the quality, or not quality, but like the health of it, like how the type of food she buys. And she doesn't buy the best food, I will say, like, or the best stuff for her kids to eat, I guess, on a consistent basis. Part of me hopes and likes to think that she just buys it for shock value and then maybe donates or gives it away or something, the majority of it, because a lot of the stuff she buys, like if you were to eat that every week, I don't know, I feel sick just watching it. I can't imagine actually consuming it. But yeah, she's just kind of like an extreme YouTuber. And while I guess like everyone has their place, I'm thinking a lot of like Hannah Alonso does a series, what is it called? Extreme Influencers, Insane Influencer, something like that. She just started talking about how like literally some influencers are just so crazy. She was talking about like influencers that their whole channel is about like organizing their refrigerator, and how it's just not realistic, because like nobody really lives like that. So I can understand that aspect of, you know, well, maybe she's just the influencer that does the insane shopping because it's visually interesting and, you know, fun to like live vicariously through her. But at the same time, it does seem like the children, the family does eat a lot of this stuff. So I don't know, I go back and forth on that a lot. But I think the thing besides the health of it is just the excessiveness of it, and the whole impression that like in order to have this many kids, like this is just what they eat, what you have to buy, this is how much food you go through. And it's just not. Like I remember, especially when I was in my teens, doing the shopping for the family, because when we were teens, and I had a lot of younger siblings, it was just easier as a family for like my sister and I, we were older teenagers and we loved to go shopping. And so we would go do the family shopping and mom didn't have to get out of the house. So I remember doing a lot of shopping for a week or 2 weeks or whatnot, whatever the case was. And we lived in a smaller town, so we did try to do just once a week shopping, just because we didn't live super close to the stores or whatnot, to make it easy just to run to the store, you know, midweek to grab some things. So we would tend to shop in bulk for a week or two at a time. So I vividly remember how much we would buy and how we would, my older sister would like to do, when she was older, obviously, she did a lot of the, menu planning, figuring out what we were going to make every day, what we were going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I mean, it's definitely something that organization is key when you have a bigger family, just because there's so many moving parts, there's so many people. I'm trying to get into the habit of having a menu plan every week, even as, you know, myself, I only have 4 kids, but it is definitely helpful to have a plan, to know that you have everything for those meals. And it just makes the days a little bit easier. It takes the guesswork out of like, oh, what am I going to make for dinner type of thing, which I feel like I've tended to do a lot in my recent years, just because I'm very scatterbrained like that. But I'm trying to get better and trying to get more of like a schedule down, so that it makes my life easier if I already know, like, oh, I already figured out what's for dinner and we already have everything, so I can just make sure I pull the stuff out to cook it. So it's good. It's just I'm not that good at it. Obviously my older sister would do it because I didn't want to do it growing up, and now I slightly regret it, because running my own household, it makes things go a lot easier if you have that already down. Anyway, I'm getting on a bit of a side tangent, but all that to say, like, the amount of stuff she buys on one shopping trip, I feel like could be the family for like a month or something. It's just so excessive and unnecessary. And it just, I don't know, annoys me a little bit. But also the fact that, like, I feel sad for the kids. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I saw, my, what is it called? My brow, whatever this is, brow mascara. I feel like it's getting a little old, because it's kind of getting product in it, like maybe from powder from my my face, but now when it dries, I feel like it's flaking a little bit. This is the 24-hour brow setter. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's the product getting old. Like I said, I don't know. But it's just annoying because I don't like it to look like there's flakes in my eyeshadow or in my eyebrows. Anyway, the kids, I feel like, is the most, like, the thing I have the most problem with. You know, if she wants to be on YouTube and, you know, do all these crazy, you know, making the meals, you know, going grocery shopping and just showing all this insane, in my opinion, insane shopping and prepping and whatnot, so be it. Like, whatever she wants to do, whatever she needs to do to make money, that type of thing. But I always have an issue whenever she brings the kids into it, because majority of the time they don't look like they're having a great time. And like, I feel like she's talked about how, you know, her kids have been through a lot. She's adopted some of them from the foster care. They've had a lot of hardships before coming to her, and I just feel like then putting them out on the internet, especially to such a large audience, is just a little sad, and I just feel bad for them. Especially the reason that I was kind of talking, or wanted to talk about this today, is because I saw someone talking about one of their middle child. Her name starts with a Z, but she just didn't seem happy, and so I tend to not watch her channel at all. I just watch, like I said, Dad Challenge podcast and Amy Robertson, or whatever her last name is. Those are really the only two channels that I watch to get, you know, the scoop, I guess you could say, on what's going on. But I went ahead and went over there because a lot of people also will like blur the face when they talk about them, just to respect the privacy of the individual, which I do understand that is helpful. But when I'm trying to also like gather my own opinion on it, I like to kind of see for myself and make sure that what people are telling me is actually adding up, that type of thing, kind of like checks and balances, whatever you want to say. So I went over to the channel and I found a couple videos, and she doesn't seem happy. Now, some people said in the comments of like, oh, you know, it could have just been that they had an inside joke. You're laughing so hard, you know, you're laughing till you're crying, and that's why she looks like that. But and I'll go ahead and put it here, if you actually watch it and like look at it, I feel like that's not happy laughter. Like, the eyes, I feel like, are the giveaway. It definitely looks like maybe she's sick, maybe she has allergies. It could be that, and she just doesn't want to do it, therefore, you know, looking like she really doesn't want to be there, and she's crying. But it definitely looks like she's very red-eyed, and the eyes don't look happy, and that just makes me so sad. Like, to put it bluntly. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I am so indecisive. Let's go with I'm gonna go with this. So yeah, that's, I think, the saddest part, which I know Dad Challenge podcast talks about a lot on his channel, and it's kind of like what his channel is about, trying to protect kids and be the voice for kids who don't have a voice. And she's one that I definitely feel like doesn't have a voice, because if you watch their videos with any regularity, because after seeing this, I went through and I actually found like 3 reels, I think from the same day, because they're in the exact same clothes, where they did a roll call, and all of them she looked the same. So I'm pretty sure it was the same day. But even in past ones with their roll call, she never looks like she's wants to be there, that type of thing. And in a lot of reels where not all of the kids are there, you know, it's just some of them in the reel, she's usually always absent, that type of thing. So it seems like she doesn't exactly love this side of things, but especially for the roll calls, she needs to be there. And it's just kind of heartbreaking. And I hope she has someone in her life where she could talk to, or be able to have a break from that. Because I feel like if your mom's recording all day and then dragging you in to record things, that's got to get so tiring. And this is something that I think I mentioned already. They had a temporary foster to make their family a family of 12 last year, but she finally went to a different home, a different foster family, I believe, but it was largely due to the fact that I think she did not want to be in videos, and she was tired of being in videos, because she used to be in videos a lot when she first came, and then it slowly kind of dwindled, and then she would be in it but out it, or she'd be in it but really not happy. Like, you could visibly see, no one had to tell you, but you could see that she didn't want to be there, type of thing. And then finally, you know, she was able to move somewhere else, and I hope she's doing well. for sure, but it was just sad to see that happen, and then to kind of feel like it's happening again through the other daughter. And I don't know, it's sad. I wish that in situations like that, like I said, if you want to be extreme doing crazy shopping and, you know, taking people along to show your shopping trips, or doing reels of you folding a mountain of laundry, or, you know, doing reels of you spending like 4 hours in the kitchen doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, so be it, whatever. You know, she's not hurting anyone in that aspect, but dragging the kids into it is really, really sad, and it seems to be taking a toll on some of our kids. And as I said, you know, a lot of them come from, I forget how many, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but some of them come from the foster system. Some of them are still in the foster care system that they're fostering, and they're able, that's another thing that baffles me, is that they're able to show them. Because again, as I said, oh, this is making such a mess on my lower lash line. Oops. My parents have done this. I have siblings adopted and through the foster system, and I know that, like, the things that you're supposed to do. Now, again, I'm in a different, or I shouldn't say again, but I know I'm in a different state, so maybe rules are different, but you're not supposed to, at least here where I live in Florida, you're not supposed to be showing their faces on social media. They're supposed to kind of be private, especially while things are going on while they're in the foster care system. You know, once they're, you know, you've adopted them, then it's, you know, your decision type of thing, up to the parent's prerogative. But it's just amazes me that they can get around that, or that they just don't care, I guess, up there. The foster care system doesn't care if they show them. But I thought that was a pretty big deal when my parents were first getting into it, as far as just respecting their privacy, especially when they're in the foster system, because you don't know what, you know, there's a wide variety of why children are removed from their parents, so you're wanting to protect them, and broadcasting their business or their face all over social media is not a great way to do that. That's another thing I don't think I mentioned earlier, but it just baffles me that they don't get in trouble for having this channel where they give away so much information about the foster kids, and they still get placements and whatnot. Again, I once they are yours, I don't know how much control, I guess I should ask my parents that, how much control or say the state has over if you want to show them or not. But while they're in the foster care system, I thought they did have a good bit. So again, that's another thing I'm just like, how are they able to get around that? Or does the foster care system in their state just not care? Are they that short-staffed, which is always, I feel like, a big issue, not having enough manpower to go around. But I don't know, it's really sad. You have to let me know if you know anything about the Dougherty Dozen, this channel, and if you do, what you think about it. But if you don't, that's basically it in a nutshell. She does crazy shopping. Like, I'm not being exaggerating. If you want to go watch one of her shopping videos, I have never watched one. I just watched it through the Dow Challenge podcast because I don't think I could make it through one of the videos because they're not that interesting. Like, literally she just goes around shopping for a long time for a ton of food, and it's not that interesting. But watching it through the Dad Challenge podcast, Josh, he makes it very entertaining. Now, if you don't like poking fun, you will probably not like his channel. He definitely, what does he call it, snark? He's definitely very snarky. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I think all of his snark is like, oh yeah, that's fine. Some of it I definitely think goes a little far. But I appreciate his heart and his goal with his channel of wanting to bring awareness to these issues of the children in YouTuber channels, because they really don't have much of a voice to say anything. Even, you know, like people talk about all the time, well, there's child actors, and he'll come right back and say they have a little bit of protection, even though Quiet on Set came out. So like, child actors who have some protection still got taken advantage of, messed up, abused, and all that. So can you imagine YouTube channels where some of these channels, like, their kids are the main, not breadwinners, but like they're the main focus. So in a way, the breadwinner, but they're the main focus of the channel. So you know, with them being their kids and it's just a family channel, like, there's even fewer protections. And yeah, so anyway, he's really, Josh is really big on wanting to make changes in that department with YouTuber families or YouTube kids. because a lot of them, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but many have grown up to talk about how unpleasant it was to be in a YouTube channel. I wasn't around, or I wasn't on YouTube when it happened, but apparently there was a channel, which it just baffles me that this channel even existed, but it was called like Daddy05, who literally was just horrible to his kids on camera, and it went on for a long time before they were able to get any like any help involved, which is just so heartbreaking. That was a really hard one to watch. As I said, it was before I was even on YouTube, so part of me is like, who on earth was watching this that nobody, I mean, I shouldn't say nobody said anything, but that it went on for so long before something was done. I'm sure some people said stuff in the comments and whatnot, but you know, in the same way it was 8 passengers, people said stuff for a long time, and then she disappeared and nothing happened until the child actually escaped. You know, what can you do on you know, on the internet or whatnot, as far as if you're not you know, you don't know the person, the family. Anyway, I am rambling at this point, but it's really sad. I think, you know, to sum it up, Dougherty Dozen channel annoys me because of how like inaccurate it really represents large families, because as I said, I was one. I know it's not that extreme. We could probably easily get through a week on like half of what she buys, like literally. Even if, I mean, she does have boys, but not all of them are older boys. And also, like, you could make better choices for the food that you do bring in, but like, that's a lot to go through every week. But also, she usually shops multiple times a week, so it's like, that's a lot. But I will say, if I was good to give her any credit, she does give a variety of food, which is more than I can say for that one, I don't think that I talked about it on here. I think I just made a comment on YouTube. But that one mom who was a TikTok mom who got famous sharing the plating she did for her daughter's like food. And she was like literally feeding her daughter, one of them, I should say, not all every day, but one morning she fed her daughter a applesauce and a donut, like one of those powdered donuts. That was her breakfast. Anyway, she, I think, was doing it for the clicks, but still, it was like the video she shared of like offering her kid a snack of like an overflowing bowl of marshmallows. You know, crazy stuff like that. Again, people do crazy stuff like that, but I feel like it's still, like it affects the kids especially, because you see, like, okay, the breakfast, she's just doing it, you know, that mom was just doing it for a reaction, but she still ended up giving it to that child. So even though maybe it was a joke and only like she did it for that video and never again, still it's like, gotta mess up the kid to be like, oh, mom's giving me this must be okay. And also I feel like you just wouldn't feel good. I think I just have a sensitive stomach, because I do remember vividly when my sister was born. She's number 5. I remember our aunt and uncle watched us for the night while my mom and dad went to the hospital, and they stayed with us overnight and stuff, the 4 of us. And I remember they bought donuts for breakfast because they just special treat type of thing. And I was just like, donuts for breakfast, this is awesome. And I remember eating one and I felt so sick, like I hated it. And ever since then, like anytime someone is like, oh, let's do like donuts or Danishes or something for breakfast, I'm like, no, I need protein. Like I'll eat it with it, some of it with it, but like I'm not just eating that for breakfast, because that sounds horrible. So maybe I'm just a weird stomach, in that the thought of eating straight sugar for breakfast like that makes me want to puke. I mean, I'm someone who loves cereal for breakfast, which I know can be very sugary, but at least it's got like the milk, the protein from the milk, kind of balancing it out a little bit. Anyway, getting off on a tangent here. But I vividly remember eating donuts for breakfast and how horrible I felt after that. So where was I going with that? Except to say that, you know, even if you do it once or twice, it affects the kids, even if you're only doing it for the views, for the rage that will come from it, and therefore the views that'll come from it, and therefore the payment that'll come from it. It's like, yeah, you'll get paid well, but like at what expense, I feel like. And it's also just my personality with the Dougherty Dozen, with the mom, I forget her name, the TikTok mom who gave her kid a donut, but like, why do you want to be well known for like being a bad mom? I feel like, I don't know, it's just such a sad thing to claim to fame of like, oh yeah, Dougherty Dozen, she's gonna always be known, I guess on the internet, I don't know about in her hometown, but she'll always be known as the mom who would feed her kids crazy stuff and buy her kids crazy things. Right now she's doing something where she bought the kids a mini fridge and she'll stock it every week because, again, content, that's why I think she's doing it. But she'll stock it every week, and the things she puts in it are just, they're insane. I honestly don't think, and when saying that, I honestly hope they're not actually eating this, that she's just putting it for views and then removing it right after that. But the things she puts in there are insane. Again, just ridiculous. And it's like, even if you know, even if it's not real, again, it's the effect that it has on your kids. And again, like, why do you want to be known for that on the internet, of being a bad mom? Like, is fame worth it to be known famously as a bad mom? Like, that's just so heartbreaking to me. So anyway, yeah, the daughter's face when I saw her in those YouTube shorts just really hit me. I'm like, she just looks so sad, and so, like, we don't know what happened when the camera was off, but it definitely looks like that was multiple takes. Again, there was 3 separate reels that I saw on her YouTube channel where I think it was the same day, because it was the same kind of attitude that she had of being super sad and looking like she'd been crying, and the same outfits and everything. So you wonder how many reels they recorded that day, how many times they recorded it. That could have also led to her being super sad, but at the same time, it's like, why are you making your kids do this? Just set up the tripod and film yourself doing, you know, crazy grocery shopping, or, you know, making food or whatnot, or doing dances and whatnot. Like, why I don't know, I think the roll calls bother me the most, because it's just very much like, you know, they have to come, and, you know, it's not, oh, I just caught them in a happy moment, they were fine doing this video, I'm gonna post it because it's cute. The roll call is like, okay, everyone has to line up. Like, I'm someone who, even when we take pictures and all that, I try to do very short, whatever attitude the kid is in, that's the picture we get. I'm not someone who will sit there and be like, okay, we're gonna take a picture, you know, we're gonna keep taking pictures until everyone's looking, everyone's smiling, everyone's happy, everyone's perfect. I'm just like, be there. I ask you to smile, we take pictures, we try for a smile. If no one smiles, if they're just looking, I like their eyes, because that's important to me, I guess, that they're looking and not like the back of their head. But as long as everyone's facing the right direction, I don't care their expression. That's just memories. So if they have a weird expression, if they have a sour expression, whatever the case is, we have a picture. But for a reel like that, like, everyone has to be in a line, everyone has to say these things that she tells them to say, because a lot of them don't look like they're just thinking off the top of their head. Maybe they decided it before, but a lot of them look like they're trying to remember what they're supposed to say, and it just makes me sad. All that to say, it makes me sad. But anyway, this is pretty much the look. I like how it turned out. Again, the palette, Sakura palette, is just such a light toned palette. So if you like these type of wispy, I feel like is the best way I could describe this type of look. Very wispy and light. The coloring is not anything saturated and intense, but it's very pretty. I do like it. So that is going to do it for me. I just rambled for a while. There's a lot. I guess I didn't go into depth of what Dougherty Dozen has done in the past, but I think those are the roll calls and involving all the children bothers me the most. And also the excessive, you know, shopping, talking about it being a family of 11, like that's the reason. The shopping is excessive. Like I said, I've been in a family of, we were 12. I've been in that big of a family, and it's just, it is excessive. So that bothers me too. But anyway, I just wanted to chat a little bit while I did my makeup, and that was the topic I thought to chat about. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Once again, this is the Alter Ego Sakura palette. I'm gonna have a video reviewing this palette along with these 4. Hopefully in the next video. I got the, what is this? What's Up Beauty Dragon's Eye palette, the Cozy Cabin palette, the Classic Autumn palette, and Ghost Town USA palette. So those are all going to be in a palette palooza, hopefully the next video. So with that said, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm over on Instagram, LadyKD92 over there if you wanna follow me. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.